Welcome to another special edition of Litter Media Live. I'm Dan Ramey, and in studio with me today I have to my left Marty Ford. He is the VP of Marketing for Kingston National Bank. And the guy over on the far left, he's an author. You probably know him from that, but he's also working now with Kingston National Bank. We're talking with electronic banking manager, Wes Molebash. Good to have you guys here today.
Good to be here, Dan.
We have a topic we want to touch on that nobody wants to touch on, but it's going to be touched on. And it is online banking and the scary side of online banking. We'll talk about some of the scams that are going on and that sort of thing that they're discovering in online banking. All after this message from Kingston National Bank.
Wherever you are there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch just to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, download the Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
We want to first say thank you for the convenience of online banking. I will tell you, as a customer of online banking, it makes it so easy if you want to transfer funds and so on and so forth, but there are some things that there's some evildoers out there, aren't there?
For sure. You know, the convenience of online banking over the last 20 years has really opened up the world to your accounts. So the convenience is great, but we don't often think about the risk involved, and we kind of minimize that. It'll never happen to me. We see that every day when we deal with customers. But there is a danger in that. That's why it's so important to keep your passwords and really be diligent with your email from phishing scams and things like that. Because as soon as they have your login, then they're in and they can do some damage. We're always trying to help our customers understand that risk and then create ways to make online banking more secure. It's secure. Most of the time when a breach happens, it's our own fault, where we've made a mistake. We weren't diligent. We weren't protecting the information like we should. And so that's the big thing.
Mm-hmm. However, having said all that, you need to make sure you take a look at your bank statements, review those types of things to see. I don't remember being in Iowa, and making these purchases, right, and someone's got a hold of your information.
Yeah.
It's actually one of the nice things about online banking is if you make a habit of checking it every day, you can catch stuff in the moment, like as transactions are happening, not a month later when you get your statement, which is still a good practice to have. But like Marty said, maintaining a lot of the breaches that we see are not even technically breaches. It's someone was lax with their passwords and their usernames. Right. A key thing I try to tell customers, and they don't like hearing this, and I even sometimes I lecture my dad, right? Because I hate to say it, but if you're 55 and older, you're a target. And so, people call in, they have these things, and then I go tell my dad, hey, make sure you're doing this. And he's like, I got it. But the key thing is that you want to protect your information. You want to, the harder it is for you to log in to your online banking, it's going to be infinitely harder for bad actors to log in. So your pain in the neck password that has a bunch of characters and different, capitals and lowercase and different special characters and numbers. I know it's a hassle trying to make a new one every time, but that's for your protection. Multi-factor authentication, sending you a text message, verifying with a phone call or an email. I know it's a hassle to have to switch between programs and get that little code, but that's for your protection. I also encourage, if you're using a mobile app on your phone, take advantage of your phone's security features. A lot of that mobile apps, ours included, will tie in with biometric authentication, your Face ID, your thumbprint, and you can use those security features to help to log into your mobile banking. So the more you do to make it harder for yourself to get into your own banking, the better you are, because you're making it that much harder for the bad guys.
I don't know if I had seen too many Mission Impossible movies or what the case may be, but when I started thinking about the Face ID, I thought, well, yeah, what if I change my glasses? What if I take my glasses off? Is it going to be able to? It's amazing how, yes, it does capture your features no matter how you are described.
Yeah. I think I heard a comedian say, like, when you wake up in the morning and Face ID doesn't detect you, and that's like the most insulting thing. I think I have had that a few times. Or what? That's like the worst case scenario, and your eyes are all puffy or whatever. But yeah, for the most part, it'll scan you, and it's very convenient for that.
Yeah, yep. And I'll say I was leery of doing that because I got to thinking, well, the more of me I put in, isn't there more risk of me being discovered? But those are security measures which are important.
Mm-hmm. And again, it all comes back to it's only as secure as you keep your information secure. So create your strong password and keep it to yourself. Don't share it with people. I know there's going to be exceptions to these rules. There's people that we trust and we want, but just make sure those are people we trust, that they're vetted. As a bank, we're never going to call you and ask you for your password. I don't need your password. I've got admin tools. I can see what I need to see to help you with your online banking. Right. And if I do anything that's bad, my name is all over it. I will go to prison for a very long time, and I do not want that. So
nobody wants that.
Yeah.
I know in doing a lot of the online banking, if you've forgotten your password, you have those reminders of how you have security questions you answer, and that. So there's times where I feel as though I can't remember what my security answer was.
Yeah.
So those are types of things that it's good to write those things down, especially I recently went through a health issue, and my wife was like, all those passwords and everything, you've got them up here. Mm-hmm. Can you put them down somewhere for me? Mm-hmm. And I know she's not an evildoer.
Right.
But that is one of those things that can cause some issues when you write your passwords down. That's why maybe using a secure password wallet or something like that that's on your phone to try to strengthen that up, because we see it. People write their password on a sticky note and put it on their monitor on their computer. And so it's right there. Most of the time, the breach that we see now isn't coming from within the house. Mm-hmm. It's coming from outside sources, which is why we've upped our game with multi-factor authentication. We do a lot of device management in the background. Mm-hmm. So if somebody's, a foreign IP is trying to log in as you, we get some alerts on our end. And those all go in, in logs that we can kind of keep track of. So if there is a problem, we can go back and see like a pattern when it started. So there are some things that we're doing on our side to try to make it easy for people from a password standpoint. We used to make you change your password every 3 months. Now we do that annually because it became such a problem for people as we were, requiring more difficult passwords for people to remember. Mm-hmm. We've tried to accommodate customers, but still, it's only your password is only as strong as you make it. Mm-hmm. If you make it something super easy for you to remember, it's probably going to be pretty easy for somebody to figure out. So just adding some complications into that password, it goes so far in protecting your online presence. So that goes into identity theft. It plays into lots of different things.
And we're talking online banking right now. We're talking about your money, obviously. Right. However, if you think, well, I'll use this safe, this easy to remember passcode on my club membership over here, that's a gateway as well. Mm-hmm. And that can take you right over because when an evildoer sees a crumb, they'll go after it, won't they?
We're seeing that right now. I've got a customer right now whose email's been compromised, and because they're able to compromise the email, they were able to compromise the online banking I don't know how they got the username. We're still trying to figure that out, but they were able to reset the password because they had access to the email. And so again, just having all of these passwords, it's very important that you keep them secure. There are people who, the best practice is not to write them down, I'm telling you, as a person I like to consider myself a professional, I write them down. There's too many. There's too many to keep track of. And, but I keep those in a secure place. I keep them under lock and key. I keep them, if they're on my computer has a password on it, and I have my finger ID on that. My kids can't get into it. It's so I have safeguards for where I have my passwords written down to ensure that, like I said, I'm not going to leave it on the computer for anyone to walk by and be able to see. So yeah, it's just, you have to be very careful with all of your passwords. It's not just your online banking, and it can even be, we were talking before we recorded, people will try to hack into, you might have an account for, I don't know, your kids' soccer, right? You've got logins for everything. Right. Someone might try to hack that, and you're thinking, well, what would they want with that? Well, there might be some information in there, social security number, even if it's the last 4 digits of something. There's something in there they might be able to use or sell, and it's just important to always erring on the side of safety is never going to do you wrong.
And you never know who you are connecting with. You may think it's a safe property, but they may be selling their database of what is your information. And next thing you know, it's out there, and I didn't give permission. Well, you were on that list.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yep.
All things to watch out for. And we'll also tell you, if you do store things in your phone, don't make it obvious, like passwords.
Yeah.
Just make it easier for them to find what your
There are
passwords
apps out there to help you manage all of that. So,
are we finding that? This is something you battle every day.
Every day, yeah. We exhaust a lot of our resources in fighting fraud on all fronts. Mm-hmm. Check washing is a big thing now. You would think that people are using fewer and fewer checks, but the fraudsters have moved back to attacking checks. They're stealing checks out of the mailboxes, and then they'll wash the check and change the pay to the order or change the amounts. So we're starting to see some of the old fraud that used to happen that kind of disappeared for a while come back because
it's like fashion; it comes right back.
Yeah, exactly. But it's because they've found out that it's easier because of all the safe holds that we put on online banking and protection there. That's getting tougher. So then it's like they're always after the easy money, and so that becomes the easier path. So we've seen some old fraud come back.
I can't remember the name, but Leonardo DiCaprio played him in the movie Catch Me If You Can. Right. The actual individual who did all of the scamming was making a presentation to someone at one point in time, and it was amazing how he was able to get away with things for so long.
Yeah.
And there's still those types of people out there.
They are. And that's something like when I'm talking to my dad, I'm having these conversations, and I think there's a lot of shame built in to if you're a victim, right? There was right around the holidays, the Chillicothe Police Department or the Ross County Sheriff's, one or the other, or maybe both, posted on Facebook, there was a woman who had given $50,000 away to some conmen. They got access to her bank account. She was giving them money. And I remember I read the comments, which is rule number 1 that you don't do when you're on the internet, right? But I saw all these people were just flabbergasted. How could she give that much money away? How did she, and how she must not have been very smart and all this stuff, all these horrible things. And the thing is like, people don't realize these bad actors are good. If they get you on the phone, they know how to build rapport. They know how to create a sense of urgency.
Right.
They know how to make you feel safe. Like, I've got you. I'm going to take care of you. And they play a long game. We were working with a customer around the same time last year, the holidays. And it was several phone calls over the period of several hours before they finally were like, hey, we need your bank account, your banking password so we can get in there. And they had built the trust. And before long, they find themselves giving away information they would think they would never give away, but they've built that level of trust. So it's just important to be on your guard. If you've been a victim, you're not an idiot. I've seen, we've seen people who are educators, business leaders in our community.
Right.
You are not immune to this. It can happen to anyone. Just have your guard up and be ready and know the signs, and and if you feel like something's out of your control, just hang up the phone and call your bank directly. And that goes for whether you bank with Kingston or any of the other banks in our area. They would all say the same thing.
Yeah. Pick up the phone and call. That's what we tell people all the time. If you find yourself in a place where you think something isn't right, then hang up and call us. Like Wes said earlier, we will never call you and ask you for your username and password. That's not how we operate. And so anytime, allow those, if you feel the red flag, that it probably is a red flag, and just pick up the phone and call us, and we can help you through it.
There are no stupid questions.
There aren't.
When it comes to something like this. I know that through the Sheriff's Department and through the city police, as you mentioned, they alert us of scams all the time. And even they will not be ones that say, hey, in order for you to pay this fine, we need you to go out and buy some gift cards. That's another scam that is used. And I know this was part of a presentation that the banking industry here locally was involved with, telling their customers, hey, watch out for this, watch out for that. And we're grateful for the proactivity that you displayed on that time.
Yeah, I mean, we've come up with an organization where a lot of community banks are partnering and credit unions to try to create a system where we can alert each other when we're seeing things happen. And so we're on an email list that it's amazing. Every week, it seems like somebody's reaching out and saying, hey, we had this customer, this scam happening. We've had people coming into the office. People still do come to the teller lines and try to get away with things.
Yeah, they do.
We've seen a decline in robberies because of the consequences of getting caught. But they've just figured out different ways to do the same thing, is to rob people of their money. So
we must be careful in everything that we do. And while it's costing us money, our money, it's costing the banking industry money as well, isn't it?
Yes. I don't even know what the numbers are, how much fraud is happening. I mean, I know what our numbers are each year, and it would probably frighten people, what we deal with on a daily basis. And we're just a 6-branch, $600 million community bank. I can't imagine what some of the large regionals are dealing with on a daily basis, where it's a large organization. It's easier to
absorb some of that.
Or the fraud just disappears for a longer period of time. There are lots of eyes, but none of them are really focused on that. So I imagine they have some large fraud departments that are trying to fight this on a daily basis. And I know what we're trying to do on a daily basis from our standpoint. It's every day we are on alert and trying to prevent people from losing their hard-earned money. That's really what it comes down to. Is the fraudster, their goal is they take the chance because it could pay off little, it could pay off big. It doesn't really matter to them. It just, as long as it pays off in some way. So they keep throwing the dart at the wall and hoping they hit something. And
if at first you don't succeed, try again, right?
Yeah, try again. Yeah.
And it goes the same even for the bad guys. We've talked about a lot of the difficulty things to watch out for. What's good about the banking industry these days that you'd like to share with us today?
I'm constantly impressed by the technology that we are implementing, and we are trying to. Online banking is convenient. We are continuing to add. One of the things we were having a rough time with last year was connecting third-party APIs, third-party products to our online banking. Like if you wanted to sync your transactions with your accounting software or something like that, which creates another entry point for fraud. Well, we've got new tools in place behind the scenes that are keeping your account safe. There's all this, these conferences and things we go to learn more about fraud. And then Marty mentioned it too, that here locally we have the South Central Ohio Fraud Forum, which is, I'm going to pat Helen Platz on the back because that's kind of her baby. Helen Platz is our fraud prevention manager at Kingston, and she's amazing. and she helped start this organization. And we have several banks. I'll throw their names out. We've got Minton County Bank. We've got Atomic Credit Union, Homeland Credit Union, Savings Bank. I'm probably missing a few. The Ohio Attorney General's Office, Dave Yost has backed it.
Right.
We've got Ross County Sheriffs, Fairfield County Sheriffs, and we meet quarterly and we discuss what's going on and what we're seeing. We have consultants come in during those meetings and kind of share stuff they're seeing. We had lawyers that came in last time. It was really fascinating. And then we have ongoing communication, like Marty said, emails, phone calls that are going on daily to keep us all aware of, because what's happening at another bank, those guys don't care. They're not looking at the sign. They're going from this organization to this organization, trying to do the same things.
Only sign they're concerned about is the dollar sign.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And so if we're all aware, if we can have a better awareness of it to protect our customers, then we're all helping each other out. So, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Good to know. And I know while you're in competition as banks, you're all involved in this. SCOFF, I think, is what we call it, SCOFF. And if you missed our initial conversation about SCOFF, you can find that on our YouTube channel. If you type in Kingston National Bank, it should take you there, because we did a follow-up interview with Phil Evans here about a year and a half ago as well, to talk specifically about banking fraud. Guys, thank you for coming in today to share with us. We appreciate
for
that.
having us, Dan.
We reach out to all of our clients about talking about things that will be important to their clientele. And we feel that this, if you're dealing with this on a daily basis, it's important to your clientele, isn't it?
It is. And we're always trying to educate, help people keep their money safe, and we think it's part of our due diligence as a bank, to help protect our people.
Kingston National Bank, several banking locations. I can't name them off the top of my head, but I know Adelphi, and you're in South Bloomfield,
Chillicothe, Circleville, Amanda, and Kingston.
Little place called Kingston as well. So appreciate you coming in today.
Yeah. Thanks, Dan.
Wes Molebash and Marty Ford. I'm Dan Ramey, and thanks to Kingston National Bank as our sponsor for this edition of Litter Media Live.